Hey everyone, we have missed you guys. Welcome to 2025. We are in the new year, new us, new me. Kami, you got any new me's, new we's, new anything?
Well, I'm just continuing my last journey. So the new year, new me, I'm just continuing from where I left off last year and still going and going to keep on pushing forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love it, love it, love it. I don't, I know you for a fact don't participate in new me, new you. You just do you and grow every single day. And that's a good way to live. Um, Me and my girl, we have opened a mental health practice. So if you have questions or concern, that is our growth for the year. But it's enough about us. We have coming to the stage this gentleman, Mr. Brad Edwards. I found his brother on Instagram and stalked him for a second, found him, watched what he was doing, and he's doing something absolutely unique that made me really want to reach out to him because I think it's necessary. It's for men and women. He has co-founded the program Dads to Doulas. And he is on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage here today to enlighten us and share with us, our men and women, to hear and learn and grow and do absolutely better. And so, without further ado, I can't hold this man back any further. Help me welcome Mr. Brad Edwards. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The resume is extensive, sir. You are doing the work. You are doing something unique to this work. And so I wanted to just start off with a softball question. What inspired you to co-found the Dads to Doula initiative that you have been pushing and promoting all over social media and have been taking off and speaking and teaching this necessary importance? What started it? What kicked it off for you, sir?
And like everything that we've been able to be successful with at Dear Fathers, this initiative was birthed out of real life experience and trauma. I experienced loss in 2017, and I can't say that I can overtly point at the healthcare system and say that there was any wrongdoing on their end. But I can say that I was unprepared and I was naive to the realities of what Black maternal health looks like. There's some things I could have done differently, and because I didn't, I always had a question in my mind of what could I have done differently, what things could I have, learned or understood going into that process. So if fast forward a couple of years, my daughter is on the way in 2020. One of my very good friends, Kyra Betts, who was our lead facilitator for Dads to Doulas, and she literally wrote the entire program herself, catered for Black men. I got with her. I was like, "Hey, Kyra, these are the things I remember. I remember that the oxygen levels needed to be at a certain level. I knew that the heart rate needed to be at a certain thing. Cause I remember hearing the doctors talk about this in the labor delivery room. And those are things I was paying attention to, but that's all I had. So she essentially helped me write out what we call my playbook. And that's what I took into the labor and delivery room. And that was my guide for myself to bring a little bit of understanding, a little bit of peace. So I'm not as ignorant or helpless, if you will, in that labor delivery room. And then she went on to, my partner at the time really wasn't knowledgeable about doulas and didn't really kind of want a doula. And when we were in the room, she was like, "Hey, can you create a group chat with Kyra so I could ask her certain questions?" So Kyra was there for us virtually in the doula space. But, again, she gave me a level of confidence that I could walk to the labor delivery room and know that I knew a lot bit more, right, than I knew the first time. So fast forward to 2024, and I don't even know what I was watching. I really wish I could remember like what sparked the thought, but I simply text Kyra, "Hey, can you provide men in our community the same level of training that you gave me?" Her response was immediately yes. I said, "Is that yes that we can do this?" She said yes. And I don't think she understood what she was committing herself to at the time, because I don't think that we even understood what we were building at the time. We had the informational in July. We started the program in October, and it's been up ever since then, man. So it was trauma that happened to me. We saw what the solution could be to the problem, and now we're working on a different result for myself, and other families.
So I want to. What is a doula? Can you spread out that definition for us? What is a doula? Um, is it typically historically been women that were doulas, and now you are? I feel like you are pushing against that stigma. But what is a doula, and what has it been historically? Why the need?
Yes. So historically, midwives have been a part of the birthing process for Black women, and midwives served, for white families as well. But Black midwives, midwifery has always been there for us, our people are concerned. And then doulas came into play. So a doula is someone that is there to be that advocate to help with the birthing process along with the doctors or whatever the case is. And I'm not looking to push against the stigma, right? So oftentimes men, especially Black men, are not included in any of the processes that relates to labor and delivery and the whole, realm of things. And that's what that's what we are looking to change. That's what we are going to change. So I'm not telling people to not go get a doula. I'm giving men the understanding of what these real numbers look like, right? So if I go walk in a room full of men that have no understanding what a doula is and don't really kind of know that much about what Black maternal health looks like, and I tell them, hey man, look, in 2022 in the state of Missouri, we lost 467 infants before the age of 1. If I tell them that 50% of the Black babies are 50% more likely to be in the NICU than any other race, if I tell them that 60% of Black maternal deaths are completely preventable, I may get your attention, right? So now you're like, oh, damn, I do have a homeboy or a cousin or a friend that had their child in the NICU. I didn't really know what the NICU was, but now I understand that's a preterm baby, and there's a different things that could happen that can be preventable. If I know that, okay, these Black women are dying, and if there's someone present and being an advocate for them and speaking up and saying and having their best interests at heart, because the historically the healthcare system has not, then I'm gonna step up a little bit more, right? I'm gonna understand and try to get some education and some training.
But
So
isn't that the doctors and the nurses? They're not there for the parents, the mother, the kids. They're not there for them.
Um,
go
well,
ahead.
unfortunately, in the healthcare system, because I work in that as well. I worked in the front end and as well as the back end with pushing paperwork. They are not here for women of minority and definitely Black women as they should be. So a lot of times we're screaming on the top of our lungs to get what we need for ourselves and our children, and they're basically pushing us in the back and telling, well, hey, there's nothing wrong, or they're trying to push us off as it's minor. We have It's a lot of issues in the healthcare system, and that's why we need so much support when it comes to, not saying other people don't need support, but I'm speaking as a Black woman. Just me as a Black woman alone need that support to in the healthcare system, just to go forward with even our reproductive system when we're sick, when things are wrong, because there's no one there that's actually speaking for us.
If we look at literally the history of gynecology, they tested a lot of things. C-sections were tested on Black women. A lot of things were tested on us, and because they looked at us as not being human, right? They have a
Mm-hmm.
high tolerance of pain, and they can withstand things, and it's a really a nasty system. Kyra actually was a trainer in hospital systems, and when she realized that this is not going to be the way that she's going to be able to change how things are done and how Black women are treated, she quit, became a doula, and now she works for Generate Health, where they work in legislative the latest, the legislative world for, you know, maternal health, as well as being a facilitator for dear fathers. So yeah, as she said, like the system is really not made for Black women to be, you know, successful and healthy.
Wow.
Yeah. And just think about it like this as well. Being that I'm in medical insurance and I've been here for quite some time, you have a lot of medical insurance that won't even cover a doula or a midwife because they don't believe it's a real profession.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, you know, we're working on Medicare bills that will be able to. I think Illinois just passed a bill to where Medicare will cover that, right? But we also have a new administration that clearly does not care about
They do
any
not
type of.
care.
I mean, any of that.
So a doula is not covered by any insurance up
Not
until
saying
recently.
not saying any, depending on the insurance, but primarily they don't look at it as a actual professional. So they actual professionals that are not licensed through the national board as an actual provider, they're not going to look at it as, oh, you know, they're a covered provider. They're not going to cover it at all. They're going to look at that. That's an out of pocket expense for yourself, and we're not going to even put that into your deductible or anything. That's on you.
Yep.
So there's a certain level of certification that a man or woman needs, but let's stay with men because that's what this is about. Dads to doulas. A man needs to attain a certain level of certifications in order to receive payment
Mm-mm.
of compensation
No,
from a certain, or there's
Mm-mm.
none,
it doesn't exist.
doesn't exist.
Mm.
So it's on the family to pay this doula out of pocket. And
Primarily, often, yes.
so walk me through an example where a doula comes in handy. Let's say my wife is on the table and they're she's in pain. She's saying, "Hey, I'm in pain. Um, I need more whatever to help with the pain because it's unbearable." And she's saying this to the doctors and the nurses. Can you give me an example? Walk me through an instance where a doula is necessary and can step in and be that additional. Because again, in my mind, sir, first off, Western medicine treats childbirthing like it's an anomaly, like it's an emergency crisis situation versus something beautiful and natural. They treat it like crisis, like get the baby out of there, do what we gotta do, versus a birthing center or maybe a home birth where you can take your time, you're in your comfort zone, you're in your own space. So again, I want to stick on. Give me an example of how a doula can step in and be that voice of reason, if you can play.
Yes, I mean, so these are the type of scenarios that we go through in our classes, right? Kyra brings in, because she's had so many different clients, she brings in real world situations for us to navigate and kind of talk through. But in that particular situation, you know, everything goes according to the birth plan, right? But there is a situation where she's in pain, she needs X, Y, and Z. That doula will be able to effectively communicate with those providers to make sure that she's able to receive what she needs, right? Because as a Black man, a lot of times Black men are looking to speak up and communicate what that woman needs to these providers, but because he hasn't been trained on how to effectively communicate that without coming off as assertive and combative and aggressive, all these terms that they throw at a Black man that has a voice because he's concerned about this woman that he cares about, that's in pain and needs this attention. We teach how to do that in a way that can be received, and what she needs can be actually done for her versus an argument, pushback, you being kicked out the room or whatever the case is. But that doula is there to, because she understands her, right? Oftentimes go into childbirth, that person that's coming in to deliver that baby, or these nurses, y'all don't have a rapport, you don't know this lady, you know what I'm saying? It's a first time kind of meeting. I know the person that was supposed to deliver, I think both my kids, the actual doctor wasn't present. There were other people that were present for these births. So that doula has a personal relationship. They have learned to they have learned each other. You know, they've gone through this process for however many months, so she can speak better for her than her trying to speak out of pure pain in those moments. So again, it's a voice and it's an advocate for you in those times.
What I'm thank you for that. Thank you for that breakdown. That's huge. And I can see what you're saying, right? When a woman is in pain, she may not know or be able to think about the vernacular of what she needs, right? I need something to help me with the pain. That's all she can get out. But I can see a doula stepping in and saying, "Hey, I need morphine. I need this for her.
Right.
Can you get me this? I need 20 milligrams or whatever, or whatever." Or she needs an epidural or whatever the case may be. She
Mhm.
can actually, the doula is there that can actually step in and say what it is effectively and communicate in the language that doctors and nurses are familiar with versus a woman under stress and duress screaming at the top of her lungs, give me something for the pain.
Or
Am I hearing you right?
yeah, exactly that. Or the husband coming in and again, he's under duress, right? In a state of panic, and he's yelling versus being able to navigate the situation in a calm fashion. So a woman that's in that much pain, man, she should not be left to be able to have to sign paperwork or do any of that kind of stuff. Someone should be there for her to can do that.
Sign paperwork. Who's having a mother in labor sign paperwork?
You'd be surprised, honey.
You what? You try and verify insurance while
Do you have your
wow.
insurance? Do you have your insurance card? Do
Oh
you have
my
your Do
gosh.
you have your insurance card? Do you have all your paperwork? They trying to hurry up and push that claim through as much as they can. We trying to get this money.
That's why you see so many C sections with women of color. Like
Yeah,
that, that's
they
the
make
deal.
more money off the C-sections than they do a natural birth.
But it's not isn't I thought see so this is the ignorance coming out of me, right?
That's
I
fine.
thought they were doing the C sections because it's quicker um then like if you're not
That
dilating and
nothing.
you're not expanding, the c-section is like almost like an emergency, like okay, you're not dilating, this baby's ready to pop, we got to get him out of you, plus the bill is racking up. I equate it to time, right? If you're not dilating and this baby hasn't come and it's been 12 hours, I'm equating that to time that you're paying for being in that bed.
Now,
So they
the
just do the
on-
C-section. They're like, okay, let's get it out because this bill is racking up. That's what my mind tells me. This is the ignorance speaking.
well, with C-sections, you have to think about like this. It's a type of surgery, so they're having to bring multiple people in the room. Everybody's getting paid, from the assistants to the main professional. The facility charges is going to be there for how many days or whatever. The only reason why I can talk about this, Mr. Evans, I don't have any children, but I know about this because I've been in the medical field for quite some time on the front end and the back end. These claims are crazy. Everybody in that room is getting paid. The nurse, the doctor, the
Not the
anesthesia.
doula. Not the doula.
Don't start. I'm
This
trying to
does
say,
not sound good when
they
you say it like this. This don't feel good.
typically, if there's somebody who's not a professional, they're gonna be looking at it like, what are they doing in the room? But when you're talking about a surgery, you're having the person who's doing the surgery. Let's not talk about if they got an assistant, the anesthesiologist if they need one, and if they got an assistant, they're getting paid too. Everybody who walks into that room is getting a check. They're getting paid. But if that woman is able to have a natural, successful, healthy birth, it's not as much money. It's not
Okay.
as much money because you don't need as many people to help that baby come.
What do you lean towards? You're a doula, correct, Mr. Edwards?
So, all right. So it's when you say doula, and again, I just want to make sure I'm clear on this for anyone listening. There is no governing body, right, of doulas. No one is no like
Ah,
you become a board certified surgeon. There's not a board that certifies, right? So there's thousands of certification boards, if you will, for doulas, and you will leave a dash of doulas certified. But can you go on to other trainings? You can. I mean, if you look at most doula trainings, they're a weekend. We're doing this 2 hours for 6 weeks. So you're getting all the information, but I don't want to say, hey, I'm gonna send this guy out to be a doula for someone else, right? Again, this is for him to have these tools, and he's getting legit full spectrum doula training. But it's all about how seriously he's going to take that afterwards to practice, before he goes into a situation.
Okay, that's fair. There's no governing body. It's on the individual wanting to make an impact in maybe it just may be to the extent of his family, and that's it. Or he can choose to expand that further.
Yeah, I mean, and then we had guys who came in that they don't have kids, they're not looking to have kids, don't even have a partner to have a kid with, but because they are community leaders and community fathers, they've come in and they take the information that they learn from us and they go out and spread it to the young men and the young women that they touch through their organizations or through their everyday community work. So, this is about spreading seeds of information and knowledge to be able to go into our community. So as much as I have men that talk about the barbers and the barbershops, I want them to talk about their experience in a certain hospital or their understanding of what these things look like and be able to help guide another brother to a doula that he recommends or to a hospital, because I know they have a great high risk center. Like, these are conversations that me and some of my buddies have had over the last couple of years, as we all have kids around the same age, and some have had NICU experiences and had high risk pregnancies and all that. So to me, this is just regular conversation. But I do understand some of our men that come into the program, they've never talked to any other man about any of this, let alone being involved in conversations with providers or their woman or whatever the case is. So I want to normalize these conversations with other men so we can break down some of these barriers of understanding. So a woman shouldn't come to me and be like, hey, I wanted to get a doula, but my boyfriend didn't want to, or he was against it. Then I'm like, damn, like, he must not understand why that's important to have or why that's a thing. So that lets me know that he doesn't have that access to information to understand why this is important for her and why you should never push away another team for your maternal team.
That's huge. This is epic. We got to pay some bills, y'all. This is Gentleman Style Podcast Show. This is Mr. Brad M. Edwards on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. You guys don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Elevate your wardrobe with a custom-tailored suit jackets from Alex Rose. Experience the luxury of bespoke fashion, where every detail is crafted to perfection. A tailored suit jackets from Alex Rose is more than just clothing. It's a statement of sophistication and individuality. Why choose Alex Rose? 1. Perfect fit. Tailored to your exact measurements, ensuring unmatched comfort and style. 2. Premium quality. Only the finest fabrics are used, offering durability and a luxurious feel. 3. Personalised service. Enjoy a consultation with expert tailors who understand your preferences and style. 4. Unique design. Stand out with a suit that is uniquely yours, designed to reflect your personality and taste. 5. Long-term investment. A well-crafted suit is a timeless addition to your wardrobe, perfect for any occasion. Discover the confidence and elegance that comes with a custom-tailored suit jackets from Alex Rose. Visit Alex Rose to start your bespoke journey today. Happy suiting up. alexrose.uk.
Hey guys, this is your boy Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we are here in Patrick Henry Mall, Newport News, Virginia. We're actually here for something unique just inside. Something new, brand new that we want to explore together. You guys ready? All right, here we go. Hey boss. Heard you are an athlete, man. See you at the mall every day. We are at Patrick Henry Mall, living up, and we are talking about CBD. But first off, the normal thing that we all deal with is joint pain, back pain, suffer from everything.
Neck pain too.
Neck pain? You got some neck pain?
All the time, man. I'm getting up in age, you know what I'm saying? We're not young no more.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Bruh, CBD helps with that exact same thing. Neck pain, back pain, joint pain, all the pains, everywhere pain, right? And so that's what CBD does. That's what we're here to help you and me do this. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
All right.
CBD is one of the most powerful cannabinoids because all it's focused on is the health and wellness. We're talking helping people with anxiety, depression, insomnia, sleep deprivation, all provided. CBD works with the natural mechanics of your body without the crazy side effects of Western medicine. So these products are here to actually align your body and get it back right so we can actually have a better quality of life. And that's what CBD does. We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we have the incredible Mr. Brad Edwards, who co-founded the Dads to Doulas organization. He's here on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, spilling so much tea and so much wisdom, so much insight on a need, not a want, a need in our communities. If you missed any of that, you need to go back, scroll back, and check him out. He's spilling the tea today on Gentleman Style Podcast Show. You can get this anywhere on iHeartRadio, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Ghana Radio, YouTube, Facebook business page, and anywhere you get your podcast. Mr. Brad is there. Mr. Brad, sir, you have shared so many insightful nuggets here. What is the cost? I want to talk money. I want to talk money and costs and prices. What is average cost for a doula? Is there a fee structure? Is there a sliding scale? You doing any pro bono work? Anything like that? What is the average cost a doula can expect for compensation?
So, well, one. So, all right. So, Dads to Doulas is an initiative and program under the Dear Fathers platform and umbrella, right? So, Dear Fathers is. We'll get to what Dear Fathers is in a second. But for the cost, there is no cost. The average doula training, I believe, is between $1,500 to $1,700. We're offering this course for free. We do have some corporate sponsors. We have a huge corporate that I can't speak on right now, but we'll drop that information here next month. But they made this a part of their ERG program, where they are sponsoring 15 of their employees to be a part of this. And if we're successful, this is going to be a long stay program in their package for their employees. And we have some departments of health that are sponsoring people from their individual states as well. But when we built this, we weren't looking to charge anyone, right? I don't want to charge you to come learn on how to keep your family safe and save your wife and your baby. So there is no cost for this, but we do work with certain organizations and different things like that to make this make sense for everyone. But yeah, that's how we carry this.
That's huge. Go ahead, Carmen.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I just had a question regarding the doula services. While you was on this journey to create this program, what was some of the pushback that you received from people who were not knowledgeable, or maybe they thought they were knowledgeable when starting the program and going through with the certifications?
I didn't receive it. I've yet to receive any pushback on any of this. Just kind of like with everything that we've been able to create over at Dear Fathers, there's been a want for it, and there's been a void for Black men as it relates to being able to show up in any capacity. So, I mean, honestly, like I said, like we created this in the first class was October 2024, and we had 300 plus people express interest for this new cohort. We had 100 people on the informational. I'm going to have to split this up into 2 classes of 50 apiece, not to mention the weekend intensive workshops that we'll be doing in various states throughout the course of the year. So I mean, not unfortunately, fortunately, there's been no pushback. I mean, this has been well received, and Black women are very appreciative of the fact that the men are stepping up and wanting to be a voice and a presence in these spaces.
I'm gonna give some pushback or a stigma that I would suffer from. in the interim, right? A quick suffer from. I feel like it would be. Have you heard or seen any stigma around a male? It's kind of like the concept of when you hear the word nurse, you typically think woman,
Hmm.
right? There's very few male nurses. There's very few male therapists. It's almost like a taboo, right? It's a feminine role
Hmm.
traditionally and historically, and then here comes a young man entering a space. I'll give you my example. I grew up in the Virgin Islands, small
Hmm.
island called St. Croix. I was very entrepreneurial from a very young age. I
Hmm.
was the first I was the first man to work in an ice cream shop on my island.
Hmm.
Men did not work in ice cream shops. That was viewed as a feminine role on a
Yeah.
small island. And then I worked in an ice cream shop, and now all of a sudden the men are coming in there. Oh, this Batima, um, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Till they thought about it, and they're like, wait a minute. Here's one guy surrounded by all these beautiful women
Yeah.
in a Caribbean island. And all of a sudden, here comes the applications for males flying off the shelves, right? So that's a stigma
Hmm.
entering the doula space, which is, I would feel, has historically been a feminine role.
Yeah.
Have you or the men joining faced that stigma, and then how do you address? How do you overcome that realization? What do you do to get the men to realize that it's not just for women, right? Because women are the ones giving birth. They can't be giving birth and their own doula at the same time. So can you talk about how to overcome that stigma as a black man wanting to become or may have an interest in becoming a doula?
I mean, Marcus, what's more masculine than being a protector of your family, no matter what that looks like? Anyone that
Great
has
point.
anything to say about, oh, he wants to become a doula to be there for his wife or whatever, um, I can almost guarantee you that you don't want to throw hands with that man at the same time. And this whole notion of these gender roles is when it comes to our family unit, that has to go. Like guys that have pride in never changing a diaper or making a formula bottle or any of that. Like that's it's 2025, man. Let that go. Whatever you have to do or need to do to show up for your family, that's what you need to do. And if you're not, then shame on you.
Great. Big facts. Big facts. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. And you're right. Right. I don't think any doctor would question you, right? Saying, "Hey, my wife needs this." Okay, okay, whatever you say.
I mean,
They see
it's really as plain as simple as that, man. I mean, it's nothing soft about protecting what's yours, right?
so you think there's a real strong benefit to having a male doula over a female doula in the birthing room in the hospital. There's a presence. What do you think it is? What do you think? Is it the presence? Is it the way he carries himself? What do you train your men to do when they enter that stage of and they're protecting their family?
Yeah,
Because you said earlier there's no yelling, right? You're not yelling. These men aren't yelling at the doctors because that's not going to get their point across. They're
yeah.
not starting fights or anything. So what are you trained to?
So I mean, again, this is not about either this or that. This is all
Mm,
combined. This is a maternal team. This isn't to kick a woman out or say that you should have a man over a woman or anything of the sort. And this is really,
right.
again, for the man to understand and have a level of knowledge and training for whatever that may entail. Providers will tell you that having the father present and throughout doctor's visits, at in the labor delivery room, there is a different level of engagement and care that the doctor will give because he or she sees that this man is present. So I mean, it definitely helps to have that presence. But again, this isn't about the division of a man or a woman. This is the combination of both.
Absolutely. That's fair. That is fair. How how do you balance being a father and a doula at the same time within your household? How do you juggle that? Right?
I mean, again, like, I don't have any. I mean, my kids are 3 and 4. So I'm not a practicing doula or looking to be anything of the sort. I'm just a maternal health advocate. So that's really what my role is right now. As long excuse me, as well as raising these 2 young children. So the beauty for me is, like, I have one of my best friends in New York. He is expecting his third child. And he's a very, very smart, very knowledgeable, very well read brother. And he was at that information. He's like, man, I learned. He's like, I already know a lot, but I learned so much. And just being in this space with these 80 plus, 90 plus Black men that are all here for the same reason, it was empowering for him. So he's excited. Like, he just texted me earlier, like, hey, when the email coming out with the form so we can go to the next step. So, like, the men are thirsty and hungry for this, because not only do they learn this information, but they gain a community of other brothers that have shared experiences that can help them through. We had guys that were in their first trimester versus guys that were in their third trimester in this last cohort. Now the guy in his first trimester is like, man, I'm kind of, I feel like I asked too many questions. I don't want to get on the doctor's nerve. And the guy in his third trimester came off of mute immediately. It was like, hey, man, these doctor's visits are expensive. Ask every question, write those questions down. Don't leave anything on the table. Like, so they are helping each other through this process that is a life-changing experience. So this is just a beautiful thing, man, and it's a new sense of community for some of these guys that don't necessarily have that.
That's huge. What areas are you currently training in? What city, states are you currently training in?
It's a nationwide situation, right? We had men from 8 different states in our first cohort, and I couldn't even tell you the amount of states that we had on this last call. We even had one guy that was calling in from Germany. It's like, hey, based on time differences, how can we can we record classes? How does that work? So, again, like I said, we are under the platform of Dear Fathers. Dear Father started in 2019 by Jesse, Alex, and Lamar Johnson. I joined the team probably 5 months in, and that's when we started our first initiative, which was Straight Mental. Through Straight Mental, we helped 5,000 Black men come in contact with mental health professionals and kind of gave them their first taste of therapy and what that looked like. So, mental health has always been a big part of what we do at Dear Fathers. But within our platform, we have 400,000 followers on Instagram. We reach 15 million accounts every month. We have a 10,000 plus newsletter that goes out weekly. So, this is something, again, that it's going to be nationwide, and, who knows where it goes from there. But, guys going to come from all over. And that's the very cool thing as well, because you have guys from Memphis, North Carolina, California, Texas, Missouri, Ohio, Louisiana. So all these guys are coming in and they're all having these conversations. So something that he experienced here is going to help this guy here and help him navigate something here. So it's all just a working system for us all to come together and, be able to uplift and empower one another.
So that's the goal. That's the goal, is to touch nations, right? This is not a US thing. This is a worldwide problem that you're seeing.
Yeah, and it looks different in some countries versus ours. I mean, for us to be America and have all of the first world things that we have third world healthcare when it relates to Black women. So this is very much, we'll tackle the world when we get there and other stuff. But right now, I'm focused on what's here in our backyard. Missouri has a Class D according to the March of Dimes report. We have a lot of states that need a lot of help, and some states are better than others. But as far as much as we can help men in the United States get to where we need to be at, that's our goal and our focus.
Super. What has been your most rewarding experience since starting this initiative? What are you most proud of?
I mean, we're very young still. So there's been no huge thing, right? But the fact that we had 30 plus men that trusted us and went through this process, and they're really using. I talked to one of the guys last weekend. They're looking at home births, and his fiance or his wife went to go through it a certain way. He was like, no, like this is how we need to do it. And this is because he learned that through the program. So now he knows how to navigate that, who they need to talk to, and what that process looks like. So I'm proud that I had 100 guys on a Tuesday in January come sit on this Zoom call for 2 hours because they see the importance, and this is somewhere they want to be and they want to learn with us and they want to, help their family. So, you know, I may not ever know it, but at some point we're going to save some lives. In the labor and delivery room, we're going to save some relationships because we talk a lot about postpartum and what that process looks like, not only for the woman, but also the man, and how to navigate through those systems. So, I mean, if we can build stronger Black families through this program, then that's more than what I could have even imagined.
That's big. That's big. That's really, really big. Can you share 3 things that you teach on, some topics that just men don't know about? Can right here, right now, can you share 2 or 3 things that is a common misconception around doulas and the birthing process that men just need to be aware of, but we're not aware of, and we need to get past it?
I'll give you 3 things as it relates to 3 topics that we talk about in the program that I always point out to men, like, hey, this is something that you need to know. One, that's the history of birthing. And that's how midwives and doulas have been a part of the Black culture of birthing. Also within that is the history of gynecology and how Black women had been treated from day one. Understanding that helps you understand a lot more about what goes on currently, and understanding how this system, if we understand racism and slavery and all that, they understand the history of gynecology and how's that currently plays a part in how things go in those labor delivery room and these hospital systems, as the sister shared earlier. The second thing is lactation. This is something that I experienced and learned myself. My she was unable to kind of do some things as it related to breastfeeding, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, no big deal, like we'll just do formula. And I didn't at the time understand the psychological things that she went through and what that felt like for a woman that is, her body is made to provide nourishment for this child. And if that's not able to take place because the baby isn't latching, or you have health issues that may be preventative for you to do this in a healthy way, that affects her mentally and emotionally. And men need to understand what that looks like, so you can understand what she's going through. And you can't feel this. Your body didn't go through all these hormonal changes, and you don't have these urges and feelings and all these different things that she's going through, but you need to be able to understand and help her through that, so that she's her best version of herself, not only for herself but for this child. And what I'm saying, just be present in that. And then the third thing, and this was probably the most important for me, because I had my baby during COVID, so we were locked in, confined with one another. Understanding what postpartum depression looks like for her, and understand that whatever's going on, 9 times out of 10, it's not about you, bro. It's about her. It's about the fact that she went through this crazy make this crazy physical changes, these hormonal changes. Her body's out of whack. She just went through a whole hell of a lot. So giving her a wild level of grace, and also understanding that you just went through a situation as well, to where now you're providing for another life that wasn't there for you. The first, when your baby turns 1 month, that's your first time being a parent of a child at 1 month. That's your first kid. If this is your second or third kid, this is your first time being a parent of 2 kids and this child at 1 month. So allowing yourself grace, doing the whole process of raising this child, and doing everything with that, and then also understanding the changes that she's going through, and understanding that like she's not making these things up. She's not just being, you know, angry or sad or whatever because she wants to be. No, man, it's a lot of things going on that she necessarily can't control. So those would be the three different topics that I would emphasize.
I had absolutely no clue that that's something that mentally can play a mental toll on a new mom, and not even, maybe not even a new mom, but a mom in general.
Yeah.
That the toll of not being able to nurture her child can play on her, and so that's huge. And then you're right, right? She's going through it mentally and emotionally, and it has nothing to do with me. And to be able to push through that and grit and bear and be there for that. That is postpartum depression always a factor after childbirth, or no?
You know, I think it could be case by case, but I mean, a lot of times
It
it
shows up.
is. And you know, I've had many heated conversations, if you will, with men. It's like that ain't real. I'm like, bro, how can you say it's not real? Like, how can you say that this
For me,
lady
it's
that
great.
carried this baby for 9 months and is, you know, going through all these changes that she's not feeling the way she's feeling, man. I just sometimes the way that some guys can try to downplay the experience of a woman, I just it's
That's
different, man.
having a child. You know, I like I said, I don't have any children. But at the
Mhm.
same time, that's like a man downplaying a menstrual cycle. You get it every month. You should be used to it by now.
Mm.
You must want a shoe upside your head this common day. You get it. You must be used to this by now. Like there ain't nothing. Well, how about you go through it every month? Let's see how you work. Or how about you? You guys are not. Of course, you're not designed to go through that, so you'll never
Mhm.
know that. But your understanding is needed while the woman is going through these processes, whether it's a menstrual cycle or whether they're going through their, process of giving birth, and the things that they're going through afterwards. Because I've had a lot of friends, they've had to post. I'm sorry, excuse me. They've had that cycle that they're going through afterwards, and not everyone had a great time, an easy time with breastfeeding or trying to readjust with a new baby. It's a time, and everybody's not having a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think all men should become doulas? Because you mentioned that there are men who don't have kids, don't have a girlfriend to have kids with. Do you think all men should become doulas?
I mean, I think at some point all men should have an understanding of what this looks like. I think that changes the way that we look at and respect one another by just having to understand it, right? I feel like oftentimes the vision is not having simple conversations or being able to have a level of relation to whatever's going on. So do I think that every man should become a doula? Of course not. Do I feel like every man should have some level of understanding of what these things look like? I do. Yeah, especially like, if you're in a relationship or, whatever the case is. I just feel like we to learn each other a little bit more brings us a little bit closer together.
That's huge. Why do you think there's such a gap in men not being aware of what happens with a woman's body, or being so disconnected from a woman's body? Why do you think that happens? And because you are an enigma, right? You are in a space again because of experiences, and we all are. We're made up of life experiences that make us who we are, right? And your life experiences led you down a path to enter a space and create change for the better. And so, why do you think you or me were never brought up to, hey, you need to understand a woman's body. You need to be more sympathetic to a woman and what she goes through. Why do you think that is, Mr. Edwards?
For the simple reasons you said earlier about a male being in a space that has been historically designated for women, right? We have a lot of archaic views in this society, and one of those is not to include men in certain conversations, and definitely not the conversations that revolve around the reproductive system of women, and all of those things. Is like, okay, like, this is, what's the old saying, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. So I think it's always been a thing of, he'll be here when he's here and all that. And we have a new generation of fathers, which is also something that we highlight a lot of, dear fathers. I can't say that my dad probably ever changed one of my diapers before. And
He
again,
didn't.
I can't say he did. I mean, as far as I talked to him, like, I don't think he ever did. He was a provider. I go work, I do X, Y, and Z. Whereas, we're in a generation now where we all wearing multiple hats. So the conversation was never geared towards us. And honestly, within the last decade is when men are really in those labor delivery rooms, also often being like, the woman and her mom or aunt or grandma or whatever the case is. But you're seeing a lot more men be a lot more hands-on with the whole process. And a lot of these gender roles are really, going out the pasture. Like, it just doesn't make sense anymore. We all work. When Black women have the highest levels of education in the country. Black women in the state of Missouri own businesses more than any other race and gender. Like, it's a whole lot of Black women bosses out here, right? And that's why they don't necessarily need us for a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? So men have to kind of step up and take control of some different things, and be a part of this unit and work together.
Facts. Hashtag facts. Carmen, you think all men should become doulas or be trained in a doula role?
Just as Mr. Edwards said, I think they should have an understanding. Please understand that everyone is not built for it. Please have an understanding that everyone is not built for that. But there should be a common ground and understanding had about what women go through, and that we do need you guys, as Black men, to be there. We're not asking you to be there in the delivery room and doing everything, but we need you to have some type of level to be present.
Hey, Mr. Edwards, were you present for your children's birth in the delivery room?
Yep, 100% in both.
Was in a society where taking time off is hard to do, how do you finesse that?
I mean, it was no finesse needed. I worked for a company that we put family first. So it was no question about that. And again, my daughter was born during COVID, so I mean, it wasn't a thing of having to be anywhere else but present. And I think that has really kind of molded me to be the father that I am now, because for the first year of her life, I was there literally every day. Right. So that's all I know
The
is
first year?
yeah, she was born in May of 2020. The world shut down in March. As a matter of fact, we had her baby shower was on March 14th, and the next week is when the world went into lockdown. So, her first year of her life, all she saw was myself, her mother, her mother's family and my family. So she didn't know anybody else, didn't go to daycare or any of that stuff. And a lot of COVID babies are the same way. Like, they grew up that first year and a half with just their parents in the family.
Incredible. Absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Sir, I'm a cheat, right? Because this is our show. I'm a cheat. What tips or advice you would give to me um in wanting to be a better servant to my partner? And what's one thing you could share with me that say, hey, Mr. Norman, do this and you'll be 50% better than the rest of the men out there not doing this thing? this one thing?
I think honestly is really as simple as, can you guys hear me?
I can now. Yes, we can now.
All right. I feel like we had a little bit of lag there.
It was, but you're back.
Okay, all right,
Can you?
cool.
Yep.
I would say, yeah, I would say just, I mean, I think it's honestly as simple as just sitting down and having some difficult conversations and just having an understanding of whatever it is that she's seeking, and also speaking for yourself as well. Like, the happy wife, happy life is cool, but we got to have some understanding from where we're coming from as well as men, right? It can't just. I don't want anything to be one sided on anything, right? I really truly believe in team efforts and us making both of us making real strides to understand one another, and just I believe in communication across the board.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been epic. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Sir, how can moms, husbands, fathers, potential fathers, P-fathers connect with you and become a part of this movement? How can people connect? How can men get on board and tune in to be better fathers and husbands and be trained in the ways of the Doula Sensei?
So if you go to our website, dearfathers.com, you go to programs and then select Dads to Doulas, you'll be able to find more information and be able to sign up for updates. If anyone is a doula or within the maternal health space, they can go in there and fill out a Dads to Doulas network form. And, a part of what we do with this program is connecting our community members to resources in their respective cities and states. You can check us out on Instagram, dear.fathers. And a lot of our content is Black father centric, and that's again from all angles. It ignites all kind of conversations. If you're on, you're a podcast person, check us out, Dear Fathers Podcast. We have a celebrity podcast. This last season we had Shaquille O'Neal, Pusha T, Ricky Smiley, a host of other guys. But I mean, we've over the years had Bradley Beal, Ozzie Smith, such an entertainer, a plethora of entertainers and athletes that are talking to you for an hour about what fatherhood looks like for them and what their experience with their fathers look like as well. There's writing storytelling series on our website, Dads and Deliveries, where you have men that are talking about their experience in the delivery room, and you are able to learn about what these guys went through, and that'll help you through your situation. We have a storytelling series for Black women, memoirs to our fathers, where Black women are able to talk about the impact that their father had on their life, whether he was there or not present. And so men can go with daughters like myself. I have a daughter. I like to go in and really read what these women said, because it helps me understand what my presence truly does and what are some different things I can do with my daughter that can help us bring us closer and stay closer. So just check out the website, check out the Instagram. I'm sure that whatever part of your journey you're in, you will be able to find something that suits you and that you can pull from as well.
Powerful. Carmia, wow. Carmia, you got anything for our audience?
Well, this is our first interview of 2025. We're going into I'm going to call it, we're going into a weird year, but it's going to be a good one. I think we need to, look after each other, as we all know, be kind to each other, but, also respect each other in the same breath.
Absolutely. I got nothing. I can't come behind these two great people. This has been an incredible show. I hope this message has helped you all. This has served me. I hope it has served you all, and I hope you all get connected. The train has left the station, but it's not too late to hop on board. This is necessary. And sir, Mr. Edwards, I want to say this to you publicly. You are necessary. Don't ever quit. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me this evening. It's been a great conversation, and it's definitely it's gonna push me to go a little bit harder, a little bit farther. So thank you guys today.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I hope this message was helpful. We gotta let this man go. He got many more men to trade and many more lives to impact and change, because we are going global. Like we end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your families, and always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and
Carmia Wells, the unorthodox Southern Belle.
And Mr. Brad.
Oh.
Love you guys. Peace.